right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy, happy Tuesday, right? And welcome to the start of Q4. This is going to be a wild next month, right? We've got a tremendous amount of we'll call it headline risk, right? With the upcoming U.S. election, we've got anticipation maybe of some further rate hikes here, and we have ourselves a really nice window of tradable opportunities between now and sort of U.S. Thanksgiving. So hopefully, right, that gives us an opportunity to keep compounding on what has been a fantastic last couple months, and we can really kick off here and take things to the next level. Same thing like yesterday, right? I'm going to continue to try to be as transparent as I possibly can be with my order entry window, things along those lines, and sharing that process here with you all. But I want to continue to stress and emphasize that I'm already giving you the answers to the test, right? So I'm already telling you what my stop loss location is. I'm already telling you what my position sizing is going to be. I'm already telling you when I'm going to be looking for entries. So if you're going to wait to watch me, type in my order window and then, right, do it yourself instead of basically filling in that information as you get it, then you will be significantly behind and you're going to miss out on either a lot of winning trades or you're going to miss out, right, on some other opportunities, right? So I need you all to be understanding of the information that is being given to you. And if you want to maximize your P&L potential here, right, then you can't be chasing my decisions, because if you are always going to be behind. So if you want to be successful inside this program, inside this room, then you will be successful by taking accountability for your decisions, studying those decisions, right? And then learning from those mistakes, right? Or from those positive, basically P&L reactions. If your objective is to only enter in once I've said that I'm in and you're chasing my price, you're going to lose more money when we're wrong and you're going to make less money when we're right. And that is fundamentally working against you. And so I would ask, right, that you all decide that number, right, or that point or at that area for when you feel most confident of taking a trade. And the more accountability you take for that decision, the less anxiety you're going to feel once you're actually in that trade. And that hedging, right, of your anxiety, that hedging of your basic decision-making process will actually allow you to trust your trading plan more, and it's going to allow you to close your positions as your P&L is increasing. You're not going to panic trade. You're not going to do anything along those lines. You're just going to set yourself up, right, to actually consistently learn how to fish instead of having someone fish for you, right? That is my primary objective here. What I do on a day-to-day basis is I'm going to share with you basically every thought I have intraday, intra-trade, right? And I'm going to try to be as transparent as I possibly can be within that context. But if you want to get the most out of this room and out of this service, then what you need to do, right, is focus on how can I translate that information, adapt my personality to it, and make these ideas my own. When you do, you will be successful. If you choose not to do that and you're chasing, then you will always, right, not get the same performance that I am getting. You're always going to look for some excuse of, oh, it's the latency. Oh, it's the strategy. Oh, it's the pyramid. Oh, it's the win rate. There's always going to be some reason that you look to blame that isn't the actual reason why you're either making money or you're not making money. So that is the rant of the day, a continuation of the theme I had there yesterday. And for me, it is the fundamentally most important thing that we understand here as traders. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out here, figure out what we want to do, and then hopefully put ourselves in a situation where it's easy to be successful as we kick off the month of October. So good morning, David, Suresh, Craig, Ben, John, Daniel, Dustin, Ruben, Devin, Derek, Ryan, Nate, Steven, Tanja, Rod, Brian, Jeff, Tasha, The Lift Project, Emil, Jeremy, Chad, Tony, Gabe, welcome back, James, Constantine, Jen, SG, Juan, Greg, Antonin, and PJ. Hope you're all having yourselves a strong start to the AM here and are ready for what should hopefully be a successful trading day. So first things first, what's the count here on ES? Let's start there. So it's a green candle, right? Increasing volume, and then green pre-market here so far today. So it's a 3 out of 3 to the upside. And so that means, right, we have a primarily bullish bias here this morning. Right? But if we get an outlier volume standard, right, bigger than anything we saw there yesterday, then okay, right? Maybe we could look for the downside. But the price action so far today is green, right? So we're asking ourselves, okay, is yesterday's price action, what color was the candle, right? Was the volume increasing? And is today's pre-market price action higher, or is it green, or is it red, right? So today's price action is green. So that is bullish, right? We don't get gap ups or gap downs on futures. You get those on equities. You don't get those on futures. So then, right, we're targeting a move towards, all-time highs here today. And we're looking for a nice continuation narrative here to the upside. In theory, right, I could have a downside case, like an all-time high fake out. Certainly could make a little bit of sense, right? And then break down. But we need to see tremendous amount of volume. So I'll say highly skeptical. All right, NQ, what's the count? Similar, not so similar. How do we feel? Yeah, it's the same, right? 3 for 3 here to the upside. Maybe a slightly stronger volume profile, right, than what we have on ES as we're closer to outlier. So a little bit more oomph here. This is going to put me in a situation where I don't want to look for bearish scenarios. So NA here to the downside, right? Because it's trending price action here higher. We're going to target our first move here towards 2,400. And then we've got it mapped out nicely. Cool. Good morning, Rain. All right, CL, what's the count? Yeah, spot on, right? Red candle, increasing volume, gap down. So we're seeing, 3 for 3s to the upside on the index level, 3 for 3s to the downside on the commodity level. So we kind of have a way that we can play this in both directions, right? If we get a bearish breakdown here, we're going to look to play commodities. If we get a big bull day, then we're going to look to play, indexes here. And our starting point is going to be a move down towards 66. And then we've got that follow through here to the downside. Biggest concern, I would say, right, with CL, right, is that, okay, maybe not the world's greatest volume standard and maybe not the strongest candle shape, right? All things considered, a little bit of a doji. So want to be just a little bit cautious here, right? And do make sure that we get like a high conviction breakdown basically under this trend line before we're willing to be hyper aggressive. All right, Apple, what's the count here? Right, 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume, gapping down here to be around that 230 area. And then now today, right, we're going to be looking for a breakout above 233.50. And then to the downside here, because we have that 2 out of 3 with volume, this is an NA downside scenario, right? Pattern breakout by the looks of it. We're going to look for a continuation story or to see that previous area of resistance now act as support. Okay, Tesla. Doji, right? But higher high, higher low, increasing outlier volume, small gap up. So again, 3 for 3 here to the upside, a more consistent narrative with what we're seeing on the index level. And we're looking for a 265 breakout here this morning. And then NA, right, as a bear case. Okay, Microsoft. Green candle, increasing volume, right, gap down, continuing to consolidate inside this channel. So not too much is going to be changing here, right? But we're still going to look for that breakout above that trend line for that continuation narrative. And then if we eventually get that 425 breakdown now at this point, right, could be interesting. But that's a ways to go. Good morning, Brian. All right, Amazon. Arrow of this candle would be pointing up, right? Body of the candle is smaller than the bottom wick. Bottom wick is larger than the top wick. So maybe a little bit of some buying pressure here, but it's still a red candle, increasing outlier volume, and then a gap down. So we'll call this a weak 3 out of 3 here to the downside. And it's weak, right? Because of the candle shape, not because of anything else. And if the candle shape isn't ideal, that doesn't change the count. We still keep the count exactly as it is, right? It's what's the color of the candle? Is the volume increasing and the same color as that candle? And are we gapping up or gapping down in the same directional bias as that candle's color? Those are the 3 elements, nothing else. Please do not complicate it. And if we have an extra qualifier, we'll just say weak, right? Or we'll say non-outlier volume, or we'll acknowledge, right, what that possible extra hiccup can be, but it doesn't change the fundamental count, right, that we're looking at here on a day-to-day basis. And then here to the downside, right, we're still looking for a we'll call it 184.50 breakdown here at this point. And because that candle shape is weak, right, we're not looking for any dip buys inside that range because we have no evidence, right, that bears were actually defending, right, this, like, say, 186 to 184.50 area. So we're looking for a high conviction breakdown under that zone. And then if we do get that bit of price action, we should set ourselves up here for a nice continuation narrative. All right, AMD maybe starting to look a little bit like it's flagging here. So let's see if that actually ends up being the scenario, right? Green candle, decreasing volume, gap up. So it's a 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. And we're going to look for just basically a flag breakout here. So 169 pop, and then we can go. So we're looking for a flag breakout, we'll call it. And then to the downside, right, because we don't have that volume shelf, we're still looking for a breakdown here under 162. All right, NVIDIA, Finding support off of that trend line. So the scenario we had in play there yesterday pretty much came together. Not incredible volume. So if we can get a breakout above 122, that would be the continuation narrative here for upside momentum, essentially. We'd still like to see that volume, right, show up here at some point. But we'll call this a 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. And we're looking for a 122 breakout, right? Or a move here under this like 118 area. Okay, Meta, green candle, right? Increasing outlier volume, gap up. Hey, good morning, AR. So we're going to be looking for a breakout above, right, previous all-time highs for a continuation story here to the upside. That's approximately 577. So we'll make that as our starting point here. And then no bear case, right, with that 3 out of 3 here to the upside. Okay. Netflix, higher high, higher low, decreasing volume, continuing to find maybe a little bit of support off of this trend line without it being tremendous. So we'll still call this a 2 out of 3 here to the upside. Okay, and then we're still looking for that 711 breakdown, right? Or that breakdown here under the 700 barrier. So either use this trend line to act as support or see this trend line fail as an area of support, and then we can get a breakdown / separation underneath. Okay, good size gap up here on Google. And then we're going to be looking for, what is that, 168.90, so 169 breakout here, right? Which is essentially just the next point of contact on this trend line. So if we're playing a trend line breakout here on Google, next point of contact here is approximately 169, going up towards like 175-ish. So that would be the starting point here for any narrative this morning. And then to the downside, right, this would be like a Bollinger Band reversal type setup. Basically just some sort of excuse to fill that gap back down towards yesterday's highs. Okay, and then VIX slightly elevated here still, but not relative to yesterday. So yesterday we were like, 17 handle, something along those lines, and the markets absorbed that relatively reasonably. So hopefully, right, we can get ourselves a decent narrative of continuation here today and get ourselves a nice bit of price action. If we look at PA on the index level, right, pretty much the entire move of the day happened from, say, 230, right, onward, and without it giving us much in the middle. So we did well identifying our tradable opportunities here off of that morning session, and then not really anything too interesting, right, outside of that. Oh, that's annoying. There we go. So we'll see how basically price action wants to shape up and behave here today. But we have either a narrative of consolidation on our leading names, right, or a narrative of trending price action here to the upside. So we're going to look for that continuation story to fall in love with. And if we do, we're going to get ourselves a nice bit of oomph. And hopefully, right, the markets want to cooperate and give us a nice story. You can tell a lot about how a market's going to behave by basically the price action that shows up at month end and at the start of the month. So if we get kind of like an indecisive narrative here to start the month off, maybe not just necessarily just during the morning, but like throughout the day and low volume, then it knows that the market's going to be a little bit maybe cautious as we creep up towards that election season really getting crazy here. for whatever reason, I'm based in Canada, so maybe this is a little bit of not like a super great indicator here, but the chaos around the election doesn't seem as extreme yet. And so I imagine that rhetoric starts to really ramp up here in the next little bit, and we start to get some pretty wild moves just based on that volatility. So should be interesting, right? Hopefully we get ourselves some nice bit of trending PA here today, and we can kick off and build out, right, on what was a relatively okay start to the week there yesterday. Although yesterday wasn't a mega monster winning day, it was a good process trading day. And for me, right, that compounds here significantly. So no gambling bullshit here today. No chasing trades, no emotional attachments, none of those kind of things that consistently cost us money. And let's focus on controlling the variables that we can't control. So we've got a bullish bias here today. We're going to look for that strong continuation narrative. And when those stories sync up, we should have ourselves a lot of joy out there. If not, no worries. Not going to rush into anything, not going to force anything, not going to do anything stupid. And I'll be happy to sit and wait until price action is perfect. So we have about 9 minutes here till market open. So I'm going to go spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, make myself a cup of coffee, and then hopefully, right, put ourselves in a situation to really take advantage of markets. At the moment, I don't really think that there's a huge impact here from a price action perspective. The way that markets react to news is a little bit random. So, you'll see bad news get absorbed really well in bull markets. You'll see good news get crushed or punished, right, in bear markets. So for me, I would say it's not that it's a nothing concern, but it'll probably have a larger impact on individual stocks that maybe aren't as big of a weighting, right, on an index level. So it probably have a big impact on like car stocks, like the automakers, things along those lines. And they are less than 1% of market weighting combined, right, across the board. So it's not that it can't have an impact, but I think that impact will be mostly centralized towards sort of those like, key names. And those key names aren't exactly a huge part of the index. But not to say that it can't, bring in a ton of volume. If it's something that's really impacting markets, we'll see a pretty big narrative here. But from my perspective, I don't really care about news narratives. I more believe that if a news narrative is important, then we're going to see a ton of volume determining which way the direction is going to go. And if that volume shows up and creates a dynamic, then we'll have a pretty clear indication of what trending price action looks like. Unless it's some sort of like black swan event, which would be like a 9/11, right? Which would be like a random earthquake, like a nuclear strike, something along those lines, right? Something that you can't really position yourself for. The news has really a limited impact on the market, in my opinion. So I'll be back in a few minutes here, team, and then we'll jump on. If you have any questions, please fire them in the chat, and I'll make sure to answer them as I return. But desperate here for a cup of coffee, so be back in a few minutes, and let's have ourselves a fantastic trading day. I'm sure some of Trump's tweets, Rod, at some point impacted markets in some way. Especially if you'd be talking about tariffs on like Chinese companies or, oh, we got to reduce lumber, whatever it was. But most of the time, right, that stuff is very like industry specific, right? So news can impact markets when it's unpredictable, when there is a basically low volume environment for it to impact in, right? Where there it creates some sort of catalyst that now changes people's ideas, and you can get yourself like some pretty impressive new volume showing up, right? So without like kind of a low volume environment or a low volume backdrop, it's hard to see enough enthusiasm show up to really move things significantly. So it's kind of specific to individual names. And I'm sure, multiple SEC directors probably had conversations with him about limiting his market moving tweets to be outside of market hours. All right, guys, ready for a big day here today? Where the fuck did my notes go? That's annoying. Hey, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Sammy. So again, same thing like yesterday, right? I will have this up when I'm trading. It'll look like this. But again, guys, right? Same thing like I started the day off with here. I'm already telling you what my stop loss location is. I'm already telling you what my profit target is. I'm already telling you what my position sizing is well before I ever enter into any trades. So if you're waiting to see what I write out or what I type out when I'm already giving you the answers to the test, then you will be significantly behind, right? So my objective isn't for you to copy my ideas and to try to be me. My objective is to help you translate some of these concepts to your personality so that you can maximize your strengths and learn how to protect yourselves from your weaknesses. So the more accountability you can take over that, generally the better things are going to go for you as a trader. If your objective is to chase my ideas, then you're going to make less money when I'm correct, and you're going to lose more money when I'm wrong. So I always tell you, right, to be as selfish as you possibly can be in your pursuit of profitability. And for me, right, being selfish in that context means being accountable to yourself and desiring to basically learn from your decisions and to study your trades. If you do that and you apply that here, then you will do very well. If your objective is to always be late, then all of a sudden the math doesn't really work in your favor, right? So like I said, you will make less when I'm correct and you will lose more when I'm wrong. That is fundamentally the wrong ratio for you to chase. So it's not to say that you can't make money trading my ideas, but the more accountable you are for yourself, the more that you're picking your entry price, the more that you're deciding your position sizing, the more that you're working backwards to find your stop loss, the better things will go inside your decision-making processes. So I would stress and emphasize, right, that you are extremely selfish with your decisions and you don't try to take the shortcut, because the shortcut mathematically is actually the long cut. Exactly like Rusty is saying, right? The math won't math. So please understand that, right? Please understand that you need to be selfish with your risk reward. You need to be selfish with your position sizing. You need to be selfish with your risk management. And if you're 30 seconds behind mine and then you're changing those variables, you could have a loss that's double mine. You could change your win rate from being 60% to being 40%. And that would be an unacceptable change to your trading. So although I am showing you a extra level here of transparency with my order window, please do not rely on that to make your trading decisions. Is that fair? Is that understood by everybody? So I give you all more than enough information way before it ever happens so that you know what my idea and thesis and entry is going to be, right? Or that zone of where my entry is going to be. So please take that information, apply it to your personality, and take accountability for that. The idea here is that this is an open book test, right? Not like you're copying my, oh, he put A here, he put B here, he put C here. It's not really the reality. If you're doing that, you're not going to get the same grades as me, right? You will be able to outperform me if you translate that information to suit your personality. That is the reality. So I would much rather help you translate those ideas to your trading personality, help you improve, help you scale up, right? Help you manage that anxiety. And you will do that better by holding yourself accountable to that standard where it is you who makes that decision, right? I am not the one who tells you to trade. I'm not telling you what to do. I am not telling you or forcing you to pull the trigger. So if your objective, right, is to get my entry and you hear me say, okay, I got in 2152.50, it's going to come back and re-hit that number 9 times out of 10, right? So just because you hear it to see, just because I say that I'm in a position doesn't mean you have to rush into that position too, right? So often, excuse me, so often, right, it will retest and even give you a better entry price. And so this idea in your head that you have to rush it is a false one, right? It is not something that's actually real. And it's just a trick that you play on yourself because you have that greed or you have that FOMO and you need to fight back against that. So when I say that I'm in a price, gamify it, right? Look for a better entry, higher or lower, right, than my entry price, depending on which direction I'm in. Get yourself a tighter stop loss, right? Find a way to make it your own, and you will consistently find yourself a lot more success. Like in that example, right? We said 152.50. Well, you could have gone an entry 168, and all of a sudden, when I'm sweating it out, thinking, oh, fuck, is this thing going to run in my favor? You're already up, 20 points, and you're having yourself a fantastic day. So use this information that I provide inside here to make the trade your own and basically rub it in my face that you get better entries. If you do that, you will consistently outperform me, right? You will outperform the market and you will make it easier for yourself to actually be green. Does that make sense? So this idea that the second I get an entry, it's going to run right away is false, right? That maybe happens 10% of the time. Maybe happens 5% of the time. So there's always an opportunity for a better price. And I promise you, you're not going to miss out on much if you don't chase trades. You'll actually make more money in the long term. So far, pretty aggressive selling pressure. Significantly more volume than what we saw yesterday. So 37 versus 22, and then increasing volume on these next breakdowns. So very, very interesting. Early selling pressure. What does that tell us? Any thoughts? Any ideas? What does that tell us? If the volume is bigger than our 3 for 3s, what do you mean by reversal is coming? Reversal to the upside, reversal to the downside? What do you mean? Does this bearish volume tell you that reversal is coming to the upside? If it's bigger than yesterday? And it's bigger by a significant magnitude? Well, it tells us that bears are strong here so far, right? Not that bulls are strong. So if our thesis, right, was a 3 for 3 to the upside, we have to be a little bit cautious, right, if we're going to play that reversal, because we need to invalidate now this selling pressure. And, right, that volume standard is telling us that we've got greater momentum than what we saw yesterday. So if we're being told a narrative, hey, we've got bigger volume than what we saw there yesterday, that potentially invalidates the quote-unquote trending price action, right? So I'll look at my bearish plan on ES. ORB fake out, then breakdown towards, right, more vol than yesterday. So we have more volume than yesterday. I was skeptical that we were going to get more volume than quarter end, but we're getting a version of that here to start the session off, right? So our bearish plan seems to be more likely right now than our bullish plan. Make sense? Right? So we've satisfied more criteria for this downside case than we have for this upside case, right? Little fake out higher, now breaking down towards the lows. And we said we were willing to potentially have some flexibility here because it's non-outlier volume on ES, right? So although it's strong, it's not like impossibly challenging for us to overcome, right? It's not like this Wednesday the 11th volume. And so we're seeing a realistic standard, right, of continuation here to the downside. And look at the spike in the VIX, right? VIX flying up. So it's up already 2 points, right, from the open, which is a significant move. You know what I forgot to check this morning was the economic calendar. So we have ISM at 9:45. Sorry, PMI at 9:45, ISM at 10. Job openings at 10. So we're probably going to have to wait this thing out a little bit. before we get that strong trending PA. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. So there's two ways, right? We can invalidate price action. Either you make higher highs or lower lows through that area of resistance. So you see that resistance, right, on volume not really hold. Or we see a stronger momentum standard relative to the previous day or that resistance that indicates that, hey, you know what? Maybe that actually wasn't that strong. Now on NQ, right, I'm not willing to have a bear case here today because that volume profile so much closer to outlier. So if I'm going to trade a bearish scenario here on the indexes, it's still going to be on ES. And on CL, I'm going to have to avoid this for now. Even though this is way bigger volume than what we saw yesterday, I didn't have a bullish plan for this. So if I get that bearish continuation on the indexes, it's going to be on ES. If I get that reversal, it could be on ES or NQ. So let's see how it goes. And a reversal scenario would be targeting a move towards, 810, right? Or on NQ, right, towards like 265. So let's see. And again, we got some data dropping here in about 10 seconds. So no reason to jump into this yet. And it's a big range, right? 100-point range on that opening 5-man candle is a big one. So there is volatility in play here today. And then CL, maybe setting ourselves up for that fake out scenario, right? High vol fake out with top heavy wicks. Now if we get some sort of like bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume, starts to get a little bit interesting. And then on ES, right, we're looking for another increasing volume standard to show back up before we're willing to be aggressive. And again, a 20-point range on the opening 3 minutes, or 27 3/4 points, right, on the opening 5 minutes is way bigger than anything we've seen here recently, right? Last time we saw a range that big, we got a pretty nice reversal, right? Green to red reversal. Sorry, red to green reversal. So let's see how it goes. So, Constantine, if you go into the Discord server and then you go into the FAQ section, it's step 1, use my charts, click that link, and then save it as a copy for yourself. And then you'll have access to the indicator. Every time I publish these on TradingView, it denies my publication for some reason. All right, so ES here to the downside on this 3-min time frame, starting to look interesting, right? Increasing outlier volume, making new lower lows, full body bearish candle. So now we're going to be looking for the potential aggressive entry technique. And let's see where it finds support, right, for a continuation breakdown lower. So right now it'd have to be 570, 67, 75. I don't know why that was so hard. So first thing I'm doing, tick stop loss, right, and then change that price to be 57, 67, 75. And then now I'm looking for elevator down, stairs up. And I know I could buy maybe 3 contracts here. Right? If it comes together. Again, not quite ready for that decision here yet. Now stop loss needs to be 69.75. And it's no longer interesting here on the 3-min time frame. So we pass on that burden of confirmation, right? I don't know why this keeps showing me. It's driving me nuts. So now we wait for this on the 5-min, see if it gives me a cleaner look. And close my order window. And if we're playing with the 5, right, we got a lot more space down here towards like 57, 26, 25. So a lot of room. Okay, fine candle. See if it can break down here. We want to see a flush under 62.75. So again, right, first thing I do, tick my stop loss, set that price to be 67.50. And then you're looking for a breakdown here under 62.25. Okay, so we're now watching, right, for a little pullback. And this would be a 2-contract play. So we're looking for elevator down through these lows and then a tick-by-tick pullback, right, into previous low of day, which is approximately here, right? So 62.25, that's not tick by tick. Okay, so again, watching closely here. Want to see elevator down, stairs up. So far, it's been kind of stairs and stairs. And just as full disclosure, team, right? When I say starting to look for an entry, that's when I believe I've identified elevator down, stairs up. And I'm looking to basically time my entry to try to be green as early or as easily as possible. Nice work, PJ. Great day. All right, so this is now going to have to be a one contract play. All right, so I am in average price, right, at, oh, this is annoying, can't see it. Whatever this green line or red line is here. So that's 60.75. And it's one contract. I might be wrong on this. Okay, you saw me get stopped out, right? For a $300 loss. So a little bit early on my entry. Just a little bit unlucky by the looks of it. That's okay. So now we have 4 minutes, right, till market data. Might wait to see this reaction to that, as we're now seeing a lack of enthusiasm. Well, that's what we did on that trade there, right, Sammy? Or do you mean yesterday's low of day? No, because we have way more volume than yesterday at the open, right? So we had 64,000 contracts traded versus 32, right? So about double yesterday's volume at open. Right, so we invalidate those price action, right, in two ways. Either by establishing a greater volume standard or by invalidating the price, right, by making lower lows or higher highs. So this was on an invalidation with more volume than yesterday. Now, right, we're possibly setting up as that reversal scenario here off relatively extended price action. So let's see how basically markets react now to data dropping in 3 minutes. Took a shot, lost small. Let's see if we can go. What do you mean by that, Jose? Highs, what do you mean by lowest of the day or higher of the day? What do you mean by that? So what I mean by that, right, is we're either looking to make a breakdown under previous low a day, right? So a breakdown under that, say, 57, 57.50, right? Or a breakout above that 825.50. Or, right, we're looking to see bigger volume at the open relative to previous day's open. So previous low a day is pretty obvious. Same with previous high a day. And let's see if bulls can reverse here. Elevators are fast, stairs are slow, right? So no reversal set up here yet. We don't have an increasing volume standard away from these lows. And even now, right, we're still getting more volume than we saw at yesterday's open. So we should get an increasing volume standard here on NQ. We'll wait this thing out for another 2 minutes. Same thing with ES, right? We should get an increasing volume standard post data. Contract size is based on how much I'm willing to lose, right? So if I were to say take this trade right now, and I'm not taking this trade right now, just want to make that very clear. And my entry price, right, is at the ask, so 67.50, and my stop loss, right, is 57.75. I'm looking at what this number is, right? So that's telling me I'm going to lose $462.50 if I enter that trade right then and there. That for me, right, is less than my max loss number. If I go 2 contracts, right, and I get my stop loss to be 57.75, now I know I'm risking about $1,000. And that's more than the max loss number I'm willing to take. So my contract sizing is always dependent on how big my stop loss is and how deep of a pullback I'm able to actually get. So my goal is to lose no more than $500 per trade, right? Give or take. There'll be a few exceptions where I'll push it up to like 600, maybe 650. But again, right, those are rare examples. So position sizing is always based on total risk, not like a feel over what I think it's going to do. Okay, indecisive candle on ES, right? Not good enough for me. And NQ, no bear case. Watching to see now if both ES and NQ can go green, right? Or if ES can close around that 58.75. Might not get it. Okay, neither of those candles, right, are convincing enough confirmation standard. That is a high volume doji, right, not a high volume reversal. So again, waiting it out. So maybe here on the 10 min we can get that opportunity. It'll be close. So it's how long your trade is willing to basically hang before it gets canceled. For us day traders, it's not really something you need to think about too much. Okay, so back on ES here, right? We're looking for increasing outlier volume. And this might be an opportunity here on the 10 min, as that gives us a lot more space here, right? Down towards these lows. And now, right, because we're testing that low of day, we'd like to see it hold under previous low of day. So if that was a previous area of support or resistance, sorry, we want to see that turn into support here for a downside narrative, right, or a downside story of continuation. So let's see, right? 2 minutes to go. We need to see this volume get increasing, but it's close. So we do have increasing volume, right? But we want to see it hold under that red line. So 30 seconds to go. And it would look like this, right? So target would be 56.93. So it's a big move here. VIX now above 20. So we're seeing very aggressive selling pressure here. So again, right now bringing up my order window again. And let's see if this thing can set up right the way that we want. So it held. So stop loss for now, 5755. And we're looking for elevator down, stairs up. So as is, right, I could buy approximately 2 contracts. That'd be risking $400. Okay, that's elevator down. So let's see if we can get a tick by tick pullback here. Okay, so now it's going to be a 1 contract position. Okay. And I am in, right? Average price, $48.50. 1 contract. And let's see if we can get some follow through here, right? So far, so good. Better reaction than that first trade. And you can see -1, right? Means I'm short. And then there's my P&L as it's moving. So let's see if this thing's got some legs here for some nice continuation. But so far, so good. Again, possibly a little bit of a pullback there, which I don't like. All right, it stopped me out again. So quick little move lower, quick little reversal. 0 for 2. And I'm down about $650 on the day. So again, now we have possible scenarios here for a reversal setup. We've seen our bear case fail twice. I think maybe just a little bit unlucky there. Okay, ES, still red. So a bit of an unlucky start here in the morning. We've seen 2 trades stop us out and then run lower. What we can't do is make that feel personal. I promise you it is not. Sounds good, Jeremy. Have yourself a great day, man. I don't know if I have the courage for a third shot here to the downside on the 15. How big of a stop would that have to be? So 8-point stop, right? Pretty punchy. Let's see. Not according to the indicator, right? Our opening range was 39 points. We've seen volatility on the VIX climb up from 16 to 20. So on pretty much every time frame but the 3 min, we technically still have space, right, towards our 2R level. I mean, we've had the right thesis, but we haven't had the right stop losses here. We've been shaken out of our stop losses here so far. I would love to see a reversal. That would be probably the better trade. Especially on NQs. Consistently lower lows on decreasing volume. Oh, interesting. Crude could also be in play here. I probably want to do a stop loss at high a day. Now that's too big of a stop loss, right? 45 points, approximately, too big. Okay, so no longer interested on ES to the downside. So 50 points on crude, right? 50 cents on crude is a stop loss, too much. 40 cents as well, right? So if we're just to do our position sizing here, stop loss 70.51. Then one contract, right, is all you're getting for $400 worth of risk. Yeah, it's not worth it. Okay. Feeling better about that stop out now. Man, it's cold. So we need to see this go bullish engulfing and bullish engulfing on volume. Should get there. VIX now sub 20. It's a big move in volatility. 3 min increasing but not outlier. What is that noise? Okay, neither of those candles are strong enough. So ES, we need to close above 75 on this 10 min. Sorry, NQ 75. ES above 56. So a lot of work to go here. Crude not separating away, so I think we made a good decision avoiding this for now. And I'm literally sitting on hands right now, right? Literally sitting on hands. For one, try to warm them up. It's freaking freezing today. But there's no reason to place a trade here short term. Still being patient. So unless NQ pulls off a miracle here, I don't think we're going to close that 60 points higher, right? That level we're looking at. And VIX back up above 20. And it's very important, right, that we here contextualize basically current price action, right? We're a 20-point win away on ES, or sorry, on NQ from being green on the day. And we've just seen NQ move 80 points, right, in 3 minutes. Again, little fake out lower here, but probably not going to close on enough enthusiasm. Same thing with NQ. Ooh, be close. Nope, not yet. Okay, new lower lows. And VIX is a bouncy boy today. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case here. I think with news, right, it's obvious in hindsight what they're going to attribute it to. But in the moment, people could be positioning for 1,000 things. It could be reducing their financial exposure going into elections. It could be taking profits off of all-time highs. It could be a multitude of things. I mean, NQ making lower lows on decreasing volume. Starting to get close to this setup trigger here for that low vol fake out. What we'd like to see then, right, is a high volume confirmation, right, or a high volume reversal. And then preferably back up above that 19.9. We've almost been what that Israel, you know, all that stuff there, right? That started, what, October 7th last year? So that's been a headline that's been in play for a year. For lack of a better term, right, the market kind of just absorbs that pretty easily, right, all things considered. Okay, not enough volume here. Okay, good call to avoid crude. You too, Jen. No, we want our confirmation to look like candles 1, 2, or 3, not 4 or 5. Because a high volume doji just tells you that it's like a tug of war, right? That it's still a fight. Obviously, there will be times where that ends up being what looks like a good signal. But for me, I want my confirmation to look like a full body bullish, second most bullish, right? Or normal body bullish for my reversal standard. Yeah, Chad, you can find this document inside the Discord as well if you want to have it up. It's in the trading docs tab. Everything I show here on a day-to-day basis, you can always find inside the Discord. I don't gatekeep any of this information. All right, so watching NQ here again. It'll be close from a volume perspective. But fake out lower, high volume reversal would be a fine signal. And our target would be high of day. Minute to go. Let's see if that volume has the juice. VIX again under 20, now 19.57. Let's see, minute to go here. Oh man, it finally feels like autumn today. It's sad. Okay, so 30 seconds. Let's see if it's got it. It'll be really close here. You need like 1 or 2 more big orders to show up. just under. It's cruel. Literally 200 contracts less. Again, crude is starting to get interesting. A little fake out higher. Strong volume, strong candle. Maybe this is the setup. Much better, tighter risk this time as well. 15 cents. So you could buy 5 contracts here potentially. Looking for elevator down, stairs back up, right? And stairs back up into this point of resistance. So we want to see elevator down under 70.14. And then a little pullback. All right, so this is how I have it set up for now. Might have to size down. Might end up being 3 contracts. Yeah, watching that as well. Same idea, right? Consistent lower lows on decreasing volume. Okay, so that looks like elevator. Let's elevator back up. Time 42. Don't like that. That's me a pass. So again, minute 30 to go. We got a little bit of oomph we still need to see here. ES got a lot more work to do. And ideally, we see this thing close up above 950. Man, I'm freaking freezing. So do have increasing volume here now. All right, 29.5 versus 29.2. Didn't quite close at that area we wanted. big of a stop would it have to be? 20 points, a bit more than 20 points. Crude not giving us any separation yet away from these highs. So in theory, right, this 10-min is still in play. But probably not by much. Okay, so again, watching here on NQ. Stop loss have to be like 31.50. So one contract, right, would be like $600 worth of risk. So again, would prefer to see a deeper pullback. But a pullback towards low of day, you need to get under 900 again for it to be justifiable. Okay, crude now giving us some separation again away from that 70.14. VIX creeping down almost towards sub 19. Can't say I've been convinced by this crude move yet. So it really feels like it's NQ or bust. Yeah, we need to see a breakout above this 64. Okay, crude now giving us separation. Not great volume though. It's not great volume on the shorter time frames either. So now stop loss would have to be 19,861.75, right? Approximately low of day. And for us to get that justifiable trade, right, it's got to get towards like 19,890 or lower, which gives us a risk reward of approximately 13 or 14 to 1, which is an excellent risk reward. Or at some point here, right, we get a high volume separation away. Hasn't happened yet. So again, right, if I set my price here to the ask, right, because we're going long, stop loss at low of day, which would be 19,861. Look at how my risk increases, right? So as is, I need to see at least, right, another 30 points of pullback, right, before this is justifiable. And that's going to be hard to get. That's only one contract, right? So you need to see basically that 900 act as support, and even then you're risking about 800 bucks. Still, right about $1,300 per contract. Too much for me. An inside bar here so far does not invalidate our idea. So if we get this thing to close up, again, closer towards that 19,950, then we could possibly look for that aggressive entry technique again, right, for a move to the upside. Again, good decision to walk away from CL. It's annoying that these 3 for 3s, we tend to get, at least last 2 days we've had them, right? We've had 3 for 3 to the upside, we get sell moves. Or 3 for 3 to the downside, right? We get buy moves. A little bit frustrating. Sounds good, Emil. Enjoy, man. So a little inside bar here doesn't kill us. So still gives us that opportunity here for potential like stop loss at low of day, right? So a fake out under that 19.9 would keep us in business. Don't see enough volume there. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so this is going to be my bias here for now. Still watching long. Okay, so as is, this is about $100 or $850, right, worth of risk. You still want to see flush under this 900 for a possible entry. Right? And if you want to trade something differently, right? So if you don't like the risk that you have here, you can look to trade micros, right? Instead of the minis. So patience is the name of the game here so far. Least favorite word in the English language. So again, now watching here closely. Still about $700 worth of risk here. Okay, now 600. Sounds good, Nick. Enjoy. So no reason to jump in yet. Be patient. It's a good bounce. That's a much better bounce. So still being very patient, fingers on the triggers, watching carefully. My paranoia is the fake out lower first and then reverse. that's kind of the thesis we've seen here all morning, right? Little fake out and then breakdown in our direction. Or breakouts in our direction. So being cautious here. And so far, every impulse that I would have had for an entry would have been wrong, right? So willing to acknowledge that with myself. Yeah, so okay, good call here to avoid this so far. So we do have space here down towards maybe this 30 handle. It's a pretty tight stop loss. 2 points. Very tricky, Rusty. I agree. Very, very tricky here. Let's see if this can maybe set up. Price would have to be 38, right, or better to get the risk reward. So that'd be 4 contract play. I didn't like the speed of that pullback there. Again, my paranoia is getting faked out and then moving. Fix back to that 20 handle. Oh, so it's telling me I should still have a bearish bias here potentially. On this 5 main, we can reset up. So stop loss of 39. And this would be a 3 contract play. Could actually be 38.50. Okay, starting to look for an entry here. Well, that was faster than I wanted. Man, heard my words. Okay, that's a better reaction. Still not convinced. Fighting here just a little bit. Okay, let's wait for this candle to close. I'd like to go as tight on my risk as possible here. So stop loss now 36.75. So good rejections, but they're not going far. Better. See how aggressively it gets stuffed here. That was fast. Okay, so now let's see if we can get that stairs up. Again, little fake out lower, quick pullback. Better. All right, guys, I am in. Average price 34. Is it 25? Yeah. a fight. Don't do it. Okay, I took the stop. Was the right call. Man, I'm getting frustrated. So down about 1,200 on the day. Now, one more shot in me here, potentially. It's 11:20. Fuck me. not a good enough candle. Just getting paper cut to death here since, yeah, our nice win on Tuesday or Wednesday last week. It's very annoying. So we need to hold above 57 on increasing volume. Yeah, it's very annoying. It's almost like Costanza market. 3 for 3s to the upside or sell days, buy signals or sell signals or buy signals. Three green soldiers. Is that enough to call it a reversal? I mean, this is a little bit interesting, but it's like as a accumulation of 3 candles versus a pure confirmation. $53, it's a pretty big stop still. Have to be like that, which is not great. Potentially here right on the 10 min maybe would be the other opportunity. Same thing with the 15. So possibly this could be the look. Get above 19.9 and we're in business, maybe. Every now and then I gotta be honest for a living. Market's making me be honest. Towards high a day could be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to watch here for this reversal opportunity. Stop loss 76. This will be my final play. So we want to see a breakout above that 19.9 and then a slow pull back into it. And this would have to be one contract. I don't think I have the courage to front run the 900 breakout. That might be the better entry. So there's 900. Now we want to see a small, gentle pullback back. I just missed it. All right, there we go. So I am in 903. Just a little bit early again here. Love to see an aggressive separation away from this 900 area. Let's see if it can go. Just a little bit early on my entry, which I don't like. Well, let's see if it's got the legs. Here we go. Better. Much better. Yeah, we have to fight sometimes, right? Market's gonna give us times where it's easy to trade, times where it's tough. And the hardest thing that we can do as a trader is to basically trust our thesis even when things aren't ideal. So this is doing nice work here so far, right? Plus 325. Let's see if it's got the juice. I'm jealous with your guys' entries here. But again, right, we've kept our risk pretty small here. Worst case scenario, you know, you have a max half loss day. It's not the best, right? Obviously not the best. But by obsessing over losing small, you set yourself up, right, where you can always be within striking distance. So let's see if this thing can keep going for me. Better reaction away from this 19.9. Much better reaction. But I do not want to see this thing pull back much, right? Nice, Mike. Yeah, very similar setup here by the looks of it. $305, $320. Come on. So we'd like to see it hold above that 929, right? That would be probably the next area of resistance that we want to see clear. Come on. $365. Come on. The other side of me is not thinking about closing this. That's not what I mean to say. But just thinking about, yeah, just being super selective, right? Yeah, I hear that, Arya. That's the right move to do here. Do not want to lose money on this trade. And so far, the reaction's been fine. I think probably a little bit of my anxiety has been just from a slightly early entry. But let's see if this thing can go. Come on. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Come on, show me the juice. So that's about making back half of the red day here so far. And that's not been a very significant move yet, right? So, are in okay shape. But would like to see a bit more sustained follow through, right? It's a little bit later on in the morning. So the bigger mean reversion trade I can get, right, the better. I don't want this to be a fight, not only from a price action perspective, but from also like a mental capital perspective. Again, the risk reward we have here is excellent. It's effectively, if I could draw, you know, nearly 15 to 1. So I don't need many of these to be profitable. But would love to finish green here. Let's see if it's got the legs. So far, so good. So far, so good. All right, so, okay, much better. Fuck's sake, why don't I just wait for this one trade all day? Unreal. It's the one thing maybe I'm being a little bit too cute about. Is just not like on those 3 for 3 days. Maybe I shouldn't care about invalidating the volume structure to the downside and just still not have that bias. Because what it does is it seems to make a very choppy backdrop, right, for us to trade within. And that makes it hard to be green, right? So gotta think about that a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm not overcorrecting basically to the last 3 for 3 days. I'll have to study that a little bit here this afternoon. So I'll have a better answer for you all tomorrow. But if I just waited right for this reversal, I'm in much better shape. So instead of being down $600, I'd be up 800. That's better, right, for sure. Okay, so we're getting close here, team. We are getting close. Obviously, the more this thing can fly, the better. There's $1,000, so that's almost green on the day. $10 more points and I should be there. Fuck's sake. Making me work. Yeah, it was kind of a combo signal here, right? So it's the high volume reversal candle, PJ, right? So the second 15-min reversal after we've seen kind of that fake out lower. And then it was also on the 3-min, right? A high vol breakout through that trend line. So it's kind of a combo signal. 100%. Okay, so that's green on the day now. Fuck me. Should have just waited for this trade all morning. Yeah, correct. This is only one contract, right? So we've done well managing our risk. We've done well to keep our sizing where it needs to be. But I also think I made it just a little bit harder on myself here than it needed to have been. I'm not trying to trade a number here, to be honest with you. Right? I'm trying to trade my system. And what I'm thinking out loud is where are the cracks in my system that I may be making life more difficult for myself in a very choppy market. Maybe like a little bit too desperate, right, to get that win. Yeah, Don, that's something I'm going to think about here. I got to analyze, find enough examples here where I can make a sample size, where I have a correct sample size. Well, target's high of day on these plays. That's always the scenario. Let's see if this thing can hold 50. If it can't hold 50, I'll be out. Okay, held, and it held on increasing volume. So this is technically an opportunity, right, to look to build into a bigger position. Don't want to see this thing pull back too much more here. If I could have my stop loss at 43, that would be great. And then it'd be something like this. Come on, give me the juice. Stop loss is still here. Nice work, Arya. 40 points. Can't complain about that with one contract. This pullback's more than I'd like. These 15 mins are a little bit more challenging because moves are more aggressive. Nice work, Jason. Congratulations. Appreciate you sharing that. So I'm still trusting here for now. That's fine. The key, right, is always... Because look, okay, we started the day objectively, right, pretty shitty. But we're still, you know, within one trade, a reasonable trade, right, of being green. So the more that we can control that variable, the better things tend to go. Fuck me, likes to make me work. Good man. Come on. Hardest thing to do here is to trust the setup. I will say one thing I'll have to get used to is just seeing the P&L in front of me at all times. That's a little bit annoying. down about 500 bucks. Get more. Come on. Get up above 50. Give me the juice. High water mark was what, 70? 71 maybe, 74. Come on, go, go, go. Now that you've bounced back above 50, come on, turn into support and fly here. Let's see if it can. Come on. So it's fighting. We have a chance. We have a chance. Nice, Luke. That's a great day, man. That's a great day. Congratulations. Come on, come on, come on. Again, little inside bar doesn't kill me here. But I want separation, right? The longer it takes, the worse it feels. So let's see. We're close. $300 away. I need like 6 more points. Fucking risk management. It sucks, but it's... Man, it's what keeps you alive. I miss the good old days where I didn't have to think about it as much. It was a lot less stressful. We used to have basically like support staff on the trading desk where they would manage your risk for you, right? Tell you what your stop loss is, tell you what your max loss number is. And if you exceeded it, you'd get the old tap on the shoulder. Hey, let's go to the decompression room and chill the fuck out. Oh, that was so much easier when I have to think about it. So write down, Sammy, in your journal what made you cut early. And then write down what you're going to do next time you have that feeling, right? If you're happy with taking the P&L and running, cool. But there's a balance there, right? There's absolutely a balance to be had. And the reason why I think it was easy for me to stay in here so far, right, is because the position sizing is relatively limited, right? One contract, I still kind of behave like a rational human being. Once I'm running, 5 contracts and you're seeing that P&L change, $1,000 a second, it becomes very challenging. Okay, come on. I would love to see this candle again close above 50. Like Igor is saying, it's quite a fight here at that zone. I don't want to see this thing pull back very much. Come on, you stubborn brick. I'm talking to myself and the market there, I feel like. Come on. Come on. So, Sammy, what it might be, right, with that is there's probably a number that once you see it on your screen, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. I need to take this. So maybe in your analysis, you need to think about what that number is. At which point you feel dumb basically about giving it away, right? $11.58. It's a little bit late here. So if you can think back and remember, okay, what was the P&L that I didn't want to see give back? That might be the pattern that you need to focus on. Come on. Man, trusting your plan sucks. Getting a little inside bar doesn't kill me. But man, this doesn't feel the way I want. So I have a multitude of setups here, James. So I trade with interactive brokers with like the family fund personal account, Top Step X on 5 accounts, and then I have a Trade Evade account, which is what you see here. I only have one current account with Trade Evade, so I'm not using a copier. My copying with Top Step X it's all one account, right? So no copier required there. This feels like shit. Again, a slightly crappy entry on this, making my life just a little bit more difficult again. If you are looking for various copy trading alternatives, right, they're copy trading options. The one that's probably working best for members inside the community is Quant Tower. That seems to be the one that has the least amount of issues, especially if you're going to be copying across different firms. If you're copying across just a single firm, there's a lot of solutions that are relatively seamless. All right, come on, really fly up here. I want to see this 50 turn into support and basically be a trampoline for a move towards 20,000. God damn, this is a fight. Oh, markets, markets, markets. So I need to get to like 64 to be green. That's tough. There it is. So we want to see a big breakout through previous area of resistance, right, which is like 76. Come on. Oh, man. Your brain tries to play so many tricks on you once you're in a position. It's exhausting. So it's really important, right? You keep your position sizing to a size where you can basically remain a rational human being. right? So you can survive the dread of drawdown. And then set yourself up, right, to be green. So that's green on the day. Let's see if it's got the juice. What a strange living. Anyone still holding out with me here? Nice, Brian. Love it. There's strength in numbers here. Let's go, Don. Good job, guys. We are building some mental calluses today, right? Nice work, Michael. Congratulations. It's a bigger day than me. I'm up $16. Yeah, this has been very challenging. But Don, if we're not going to carry the boats, who will, right? The hardest thing to do as a trader is to trust your plan when you've been punched in the face. That is the hardest thing to do. Hell yeah, Patrick. Yeah, we started a little bit rough here today. Tried to play to the downside a couple times. We just kept getting stopped out before it ran. Appreciate you chiming in, Mike. Yeah, Quad Tower, you're exactly what I was thinking of when I was saying Quad Tower's probably been the most successful. Truth be told, like I'm technical in the side or the element of like being able to trade technically, but I'm not very tech savvy, if that makes sense, right? So I'm not super great with computers and technology and all that kind of stuff. I don't commit any brain power to it, so I'm not great at helping with copiers, truth be told. Yeah, that's beautiful. We made a higher high here yet on this candle? Not yet, I don't think. So again, what have we done well here today, right? We've managed risk like sociopaths. We've been the Richard Rodriguez of risk management, right? So that's made it relatively easy to bounce back. Now, and then holding through this trade, right? That has also been very, very, I think, impressive, right? We've not allowed ourselves to trade our P&L here. We've kind of just trusted the plan. And even though this is very challenging to do, you can probably hear it in my voice. We got to build up those calluses and get good at trusting our plan, not trusting our P&L. And that's fucking hard. Right? Because the market's going to spit you out and make you feel worst case scenarios just based on our fear and greed, right? So we fight back against that by just becoming obsessive with following our plans. And not every day is going to be pretty, right? Not every day, your first trade is going to be a win. Not every day, your first 2 trades are going to be wins. So it is just that relentless pursuit of following your back test, right? And following that technique that ultimately makes you money. And all of a sudden, right, this has an opportunity to turn into a nice day. Up $400 here all of a sudden, right? And that's not too shabby. I'm still sounding like I'm probably a stroke victim. My breathing is a little bit more shallow. I'm still a little bit stressed out about this position. And I don't mean to diminish that, but this is has an opportunity to be nice, right? So all of a sudden, we're up 86 points on a position, one contract, $1,700, $1,800. And this is going to turn into a nice day, right? That's $500 on the day. It's a hard-working $500. But I'll take it, right? Like I said, sometimes I got to be honest for a living. Rephrase that question for me, Patrick. Nice work, Kenneth. Nice work. And you have very challenging conditions here, right? Very, very challenging. This is like market trading on all Heisman, right? Like this is about as difficult as it gets. Oh, yeah, okay. I hear what you mean. Sorry. Like my brain is very much focused on this trade, so I'm probably misreading some of the comments inside the chat. So I'd like to see it now hold, right? 2 minutes to go above here. If it can't, I'll get out and take green on the day. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Not after all the hard work. Come on. All right, so let's see if we can get a little pop here and close this. 64 is green. It did hold above 50. There's 64. Come on. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. $12.15. Come on, lunatic. All right, I'm out. $43 on the day. That's a lot of fucking work, guys. Oh, that was a lot of work. I got filled at $69.50. Any questions here, team? Any questions? You can see here, balance 150.43.98. Well, I wouldn't say it's that's got anything to do with their trailing drawdown, right? I wouldn't say that's got anything to do with your trailing drawdown. It's managing your risk like a lunatic that promotes you to take an extra trade after a losing one to start. So, trailing drawdown's not going to be impacted, right? If you have a losing trade that stops you out. It's going to be when you have a winning trade that pulls back, right, and closes instead of your end of day, right, balance. So I would say that it's not anything to do with, I wouldn't say that that really influences it. It's the how much you lose per trade that influences your ability to take a second trade or a third one or a fourth one. Because losing trades are going to hit the trailing drawdown the same way, right? They're going to impact it the same way. What Apex does is they punish you for being green and then going from green to red. You don't get that punishment on Top Step or on My Funded Futures. Yeah, Jason. So I have a Trade-Of-8 account that I'm using, right? So that you guys can see all my entries here, right? So that I can share them and all these sort of things. That is with My Funded Futures. And it's so I can just have that transparency, or you guys can have that transparency over what my entry price is, what my P&L is, how I time trades out, I want you guys to have that level of transparency. I still am running Top Step X here on the side, like I was always executing. But yeah, that it's there for that reason. So yeah, I want there to be no doubt, right, over what I'm doing and why I'm doing something. And I think by running a Tradevate login and account here for everyone to see, it removes a lot of that doubt. And yeah, like it, not to say that I was, right, but I can't lie over what I'm doing, right? There should be, you're going to see every entry come up. You're going to see the P&L, right, live as it is. You're going to see all those things. And so I think it makes it clearer over what I'm doing and when I'm in position, so I don't have to like answer or repeat myself for when I'm in trades, because I do find that a little bit annoying. Of like when I'm in an open position and someone's like, oh, are you going short or long? And it's 5 minutes too late. That shit drives me nuts. And it should allow you all to be able to compare your executions to my executions in a lot simpler of a form. Or format, I should say. So again, right, my commitment here on a day-to-day basis is for complete and total transparency over what I'm doing and why, how I feel, how I'm behaving, how I'm trading, you know, how I fight through demons. And yeah, I mean, hopefully this is helpful for everyone. Any questions here, team? Any other questions? Hard working day here today for Taco Bell money. Final call for questions, team. Final call for questions. Yeah, you too, kind of have yourself a great day, man. And hopefully we get ourselves a cleaner and smoother market one of these days. But that's how it goes, right, with trading, unfortunately. Sometimes you have some good periods. Sometimes you have some challenging periods. And it's really all about controlling the variables we can control to maximize our potential, right? We're up 150 bucks on the week per account. Not exactly a banner session. Probably a few things that I need to improve and refine here a little bit just to make it easier for myself to be green. But I'm, to be honest, a little bit proud of myself for how I dealt with that last trade. Didn't get emotional about it, didn't overtrade, trusted my signals, right? And didn't like panic close it as it was coming down. So for me, right, that was really rewarding, even if the P&L wasn't. All right, so journal note here for the day. It's a little bit of a real one. Very challenging session, and happy to end the day green on what was a risk management masterclass today. Had 3 losing trades to start the session and could not find my footing in the market. Saw ES break down on double the volume of yesterday and got stopped out twice before it ran even further lower. Then tried to play an NQ reversal before getting stopped out there. Then finally played a trade in overtime. Reversal NQ thesis from 19903 with 1 contract. Entry felt a bit early right away and could have gotten a pullback 10 points lower. Was able to run this trade up and survive deep pullbacks. Did a good job of trusting this trade and not panic closing, trading my P&L or getting in my own way. Risk reward and risk management bailed me out. 4.5 to 1 return on risk approximately overcame a lot of my early losing trades. One thing that's frustrating me a little bit is how the counts aren't holding up well early. Consecutive 3 for 3 days to the upside have led to big sell-offs, I should say. To big sell-offs, choppy ones. And I may be being a bit greedy trying to catch that move or make excuses to play downside price action. Instead, I should just be waiting for the reversal setup or nothing at all. Be even stricter with myself when price action isn't behaving like I expect. I'm making my trading too difficult at the moment and am end up getting bailed out when I finally just play my system trade. Maybe I'm trying to be a showman and get early action. Can't let that influence me as much. My trading is more important than just getting action for the sake of it and to make people feel entertained. So that's kind of the thought process I have rattling around here. Something I want to think about, over the next couple of days. Not to say that the stream here is a influencing factor on necessarily how much I'm trading. But I do feel like to a certain extent, maybe I'm rushing decisions just to feel like I'm, keeping you all engaged and entertained. And so I need to find that balance a little bit more. Any questions, team? All right, everyone. Well, if no further questions or any further questions here today, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions outside of market hours, hit me up and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Nice work, Herschel. Nice work. And I think the focus for myself here over the next couple of days is just be a little bit more stubborn and not try to catch every move. Try to catch my move, not catch every move. And if I do that, I'm going to be okay. And I'll survive this and keep making new all-time highs. But it's forcing us to work. It's forcing us to try really hard here. And that is really challenging. And I get it. It's not always easy, not always fun. But we'll get better. We'll keep improving. And hopefully we can have ourselves a fantastic finish to the week. Remember, hard conditions lead to easy conditions. Easy conditions lead to hard conditions. And the more that we just basically trust our system, play that technique, and ignore everything else, the better things go. So appreciate you all tuning in here today in what was a challenging but ultimately rewarding session. And I hope you all learned a lot, and we can take and continue to build up on this momentum here. It's been a paper cut week so far. And hopefully, right, we can get back on the track here with a nice high conviction setup tomorrow. So have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch up soon. Peace.